everybody, and welcome back to SFF180, and it is Monday, the 6th of February, which means it is time once again for the mailbag, and we've got a pretty good one this week, 8 packages, so we're going to get right into it. Some updates on the BooktubeSFF Awards. The early nominations are really pouring in. We have got good momentum going on there, so if it keeps up like this, we can probably top the previous 2 years in number of people nominating their favorite works for 2016. So go to the Goodreads group, go to the Tumblr page, and check all of the information out there. I'm going to say that there are a few people so far, you know, every year we have to kind of clean up some of the nominations a bit, some things go in the wrong categories and what have you. Few people unclear on the concept of what it means for these to be the awards for 2016 releases. Okay? We've had one person in the YA category nominate the first Harry Potter novel. Yeah, I think you're about 20 years late for that celebration, my dude. And a few other things. For example, in the short fiction categories, I'm thinking that some folks could be more widely read, and I myself am very, very guilty of that. As much science fiction as I accumulate and try to read, short fiction is like the bane of my existence. I'm never able to keep up with it. There's some other booktubers like Rachel who just really, you know, pour it on when it comes to keeping up with the short fiction. And even though, like, I'm subscribed to Uncanny and I get every once in a while issues of Asimov's or FNSF just to see what they've got, I really fall behind on that too. So I'm just as guilty of it as anyone else. But, you know, especially for BookTube, when you know how BookTube loves to pride itself on supporting diversity, but then when it comes to short fiction, the only short fiction writer you can think of is this guy. Maybe some broadening of horizons would be good for us all. So what I've done in the Goodreads group is there is a specific discussion thread called 2017 Potential Nominees. I've put one post in there so far with some links to short story recommendations. These are short stories that are all online that are real front runners for the Nebula. And I'm going to do another post here soon for novelettes and also novellas. Just to give you an idea of what's out there, there are stories right now by Alyssa Wong, Brooke Bolander, Merk Rustad, people like that, that are really excellent stories getting a lot of buzz. And if nothing else, you ought to read them, you know, just because they're really good. And they might be good contenders for your own nominations, okay? But anyway, nominations go until the 14th, so you still got plenty of time, so head on over to the Goodreads group, and thank you for partaking, okay? Now, with all of that rambling nonsense out of the way, let's get into this week's books. And this first one comes in from the fine folks at Tor, and it has a hand-addressed label, so I'm wondering what could it be? Okay, well this looks like a new installment in the ongoing Pathfinder Tales series. Now I myself don't really very often, well very rarely actually, review anything that is a tie-in to, let's say, like a gaming or a movie or television show, any kind of other intellectual property. I don't usually review tie-in novels. Not to say they're bad. I've read many of them that I think are quite good. You know, it's just sort of a time management thing. I prefer to focus on original SFF. But the Pathfinder Tales, Pathfinder is, as many of you may know, it's a tabletop RPG, really quite popular, and they are certainly doing well by their fans in the reading department, because this is an ongoing series of novels in the Pathfinder universe, and some of them have been written by some really good talent. Anyway, this new one is called Through the Gate in the Sea. The author is Howard Andrew Jones, and the release date for this is the 21st of February. So, Pathfinder fans, you've got a new book coming out towards the end of this month, Through the Gate in the Sea. And this is a random penguin arrival. Okay, next up is a book called Gilded Cage. The author is Vic James, comes out the 14th, Valentine's Day. This is one that I've seen a little bit of buzz on. It says it's a darkly fantastical debut that reads like a Downton Abbey, with magic and rebellion set in a contemporary Britain where curiously gifted aristocrats reign and commoners are doomed to serve them. Our world belongs to the equals, aristocrats with magical gifts, and all commoners must serve them for 10 years. But behind the gates of England's grandest estate lies a power that could break the world. A girl thirsts for love and knowledge. Abby, Maybe Abby, like for Abigail. Abby is a servant to England's most powerful family, but her spirit is free, so when she falls for one of their noble-born sons, Abby faces a terrible choice. Uncovering the family's secrets might win her liberty, but will her heart pay the price? Well, of course, there's a romantic element in all of this. Then a boy dreams of revolution. Abby's brother Luke is enslaved in a brutal factory town. Far from his family and cruelly oppressed, he makes friends whose ideals could cost him everything. Now Luke has discovered there may be a power even greater than magic. Revolution. All right, then. And the author is Vic James, says he's a current affairs TV director who loves stories in all their forms. Oh, I'm so sorry. Her programs for BBC One have covered the 2016 US presidential election and Britain's EU referendum. So, somebody with her finger on the pulse of politics, I would say. All right, then. Vic James' Gilded Cage comes out February the 14th from Del Rey Books, Magic and Rebellion. And moving on, a package from Simon & Schuster, maybe a Saga Press title. Okay, everyone, it's not. It is a young adult, and it's called Mars 1. The author is Jonathan Mayberry. Comes out April the 4th. It says it's based on the actual planned Mars 1 colonization project, which you may or may not have heard about. There's an actual attempt. Someone is going to try to put people on Mars like within a couple of decades. Even if it gets going, it's not expected to do very well. But in any event, we have a novel about it now. Go on the adventure of a lifetime, it says, with a teen and his family after they're selected to colonize Mars in this thrilling new novel from multiple Bram Stoker award-winning author Jonathan Mayberry. Tristan has known that he and his family were going to be on the first mission to colonize Mars since he was 12 years old, and he's been training ever since. However, knowing that he would be leaving for Mars with no plan to return didn't stop him from falling in love with Izzy. It always happens. Those young hormones. But now at 16, it's time to leave Earth. And he's forced to face what he must leave behind in exchange for an uncertain future. When the news hits that another ship is already headed to colonize Mars, and the Neo-Luddite terrorist group begins threatening the Mars 1 project, the mission's purpose is called into question. Is this all worth it? Well, I guess we will find out on the 4th of April, but Mars 1 is coming. New YA science fiction title from Jonathan Mayberry. Alright everyone, here it is. It's Waking Gods. It's Book 2 of the Themis Files by Sylvain Neuvel. This is the sequel to Sleeping Giants, a book that was on my most disappointing of 2016 list. But it's been highly successful anyway, you know, just like all extremely mediocre books that have a fantastic marketing campaign behind them. This was a bestseller. He's got a movie deal and all the rest of it, so no surprises there. But am I going to read this? Sure I am, because you know what? I can always be wrong. I have often read superior sequels to first novels that improve the concept as the author improves. So I'm quite interested in seeing what happens in this one. But Waking Gods arrives on April the 4th from Del Rey Books, and I guess we're going to find out what happens with these giant ancient killer robots that they've been putting together, at least the one anyway. Humankind faces a nightmare invasion scenario made real as more colossal machines touch down across the globe. Okay. Sounds like last stuff is going to start to happen. But Rose and her team at the Earth Defense Corps refuse to surrender. They can turn the tide if they can unlock the last secrets of an advanced alien technology. Alright then. Yes, maybe it finally levels up, but we will see on April the 4th. Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel continues the trilogy. And moving on down the line, we have another random Penguin package. And this one is the art for Alone. This is the third and final volume in Scott Sigler's young adult Generations trilogy. The first books were Alive and A Light, and it is one of those young adult trilogies in the vein of, you know, Hunger Games, Divergent Red Rising, you know, Young Kids, Rebellion, what have you. It says, pawns in a millennial-old struggle, the young people known only as the Birthday Children were genetically engineered to survive on the planet Mailbag. But they were never meant to live there. They were made to be overwritten, their minds wiped, and replaced by the consciousnesses of the monsters who created them. And I guess the kids weren't having that. But anyway, so we now have Awake, A Light, and Alone. The trilogy is now complete, so I guess, who knows, maybe I can binge the whole thing. But if you've been following along, then it concludes on March the 7th. This one says it's from Macmillan. Hardcover package. Okay, well, here's a book that's actually been out for a little bit, but I guess I'm just now getting it. Came out on the 24th of January. This is called Death's Mistress. It's by Terry Goodkind. Either you love him or you hate him. And this is the beginning of a new series that focuses on a different character from his Sword of Truth series, which looked like it was never going to end. It kept saying, "Oh, last book." Just kidding. But all right, this one, like I said, the Sword of Truth Cosmos, first volume of the all-new series, Sister of Darkness, the Nietzsche Chronicles, or the Nikki Chronicles, whatever. The new series follows the journey of fan-favorite warrior woman Nikki, or Nietzsche, as she explores new and fantastical realms. All right. Well, you either know that you're in the Terry Goodkind camp or you're not. So if you are, this book is now available to you in hardcover from Tor. Okay, moving on down the line, two more. This one from Macmillan. All right, well, this looks like something new and kind of fresh. I like it. New name, new book. The Guns Above by Robin Bennis. It's described as an adventurous debut military fantasy in the tradition of David Weber's Honor Harrington novels. Comes out May the 2nd as a Tor hardcover in the tradition of Patrick O'Brien's Aubrey Maturin Sea Adventure novels and David Weber's Honor Harrington series. The Guns Above is a fun and witty military fantasy debut about a nation's first female airship captain and the dandyish aristocrat who has been assigned to watch her every move. This tale of airships and intrigue follows Josette Dupré, a strong protagonist who is competent and displays a scintillating wit. Scintillating. Her foil is a louche nobleman forced to join the airship corps ranks by his uncle, a general who is suspicious of our heroine's military success. Together they join the perhaps futile war effort in a prototype ship with a colorful ragtag crew, but will they survive each other's notoriety and machinations? They say it's not the fall that kills you. For Josette Dupré, the Corps' first woman airship captain, it might just be a bullet in the back. Oh dear. Okay then, well, could be an enjoyable romp, but the Guns Above... Not the Gunge Above, the Guns Above. Robin Bennis comes out May the 2nd. Steampunk military fantasy from Tor Books. Let me know in the comments. And final one, a white envelope usually denotes a Tor title. And it is. And we wrap up with one from my 2017 most anticipated list, which I'm finally happy to have. This is Miranda and Caliban by Jacqueline Carey. It's a fantastical retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest. A lovely girl grows up in isolation where her father, a powerful magus, has spirited them to in order to keep them safe. We all know the tale of Prospero's quest for revenge, but what of Miranda? Or Caliban, the so-called savage Prospero chained to his will? In this incredible retelling of the fantastical tale, Jacqueline Carey shows readers the other side of the coin, the dutiful and tender-hearted Miranda, who loves her father, but is terribly lonely, and Caliban, the strange and feral boy Prospero has bewitched to serve him. The two find solace and companionship in each other as Prospero weaves his magic and dreams of revenge. Always under Prospero's jealous eye, Miranda and Caliban battle the dark, unknowable forces that bind them to the island, even as the pangs of adolescence create a new awareness of each other and their doomed relationship. And this arrives, I do believe, yes, February the 14th from Daw Books. Quite eager to read this, but let me know in the comments. And there we have it, another good solid week for the mailbag. You know the drill. Light up those comments, let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you want to see me prioritize for review. And otherwise, please like, share, and sub. And you can also support the channel at its TeePublic store, where I have cool shirts and other merchandise. And don't forget, you got 1 week left, so get in those nominations for your BooktubeSFF Award picks, okay? Thank you as always for joining me. Thank you for the ongoing support. And until I see you all next time, happy reading.